Good evening. This is CTV News for Thursday, May 25th. I'm Patricia Vallone.
And I'm Rochelle Metzger. Thank you for joining us tonight. 5 days after a young Army recruit was brutally slain on the University of Maryland campus, the administration unveils an action plan. It focuses on a number of things, including creating a task force to review hate-based crime. And our Denise Douglas has more on the plan and reaction from College Park.
It's sad to think about.
It's really tragic.
As students continue to express shock over the death of Richard Collins III right here on campus, the administration issued a 5-point action plan.
If it brings change forward, if people are more aware, I guess it's a great thing that the university is doing.
It calls for steps to be taken to fight hate and bias on campus, including additional funding for educational diversity efforts, an annual report on hate bias incidents on campus, and a task force to look into procedures on campus safety. Collins, who was out celebrating his commission to the Army and pending graduation from Bowie State University, was allegedly stabbed to death by Sean Urbanski. Officials say Urbanski was a member of an online racist group and are investigating the incident as a possible hate crime.
You think we're starting to move past things, but then at the same time, then this happens, and then you're immediately reminded that something like this can happen.
The killing comes after a series of racist incidents. A noose was recently found at a fraternity house, and posters promoting nationalism were hung on campus earlier this year. Some students say the pattern is nothing new.
This campus needs to take more action in terms of diversity because a lot of people of color on this campus do not feel safe. And I completely agree with why they feel the need that they aren't safe. It's really terrifying.
And few believe that the administration's plan will work on an issue that needs a change in hearts and minds.
I think it's just people, man. It's the people that got to change their mentality, the way they think. If it is indeed a hate crime.
Most people need to just see that this isn't how we're supposed to be acting in this day and age. So, yeah, having everyone come together instead of, I think this action plan, I mean, it's a good start, but at the same time, I don't think it's the right step.
As you can see, this memorial to Collins here on campus has grown tremendously to include a teddy bear, a picture of him, pair of boots, and this letter right here in the corner that says, "I hope heaven is everything you could ever dream of. I love you. Thank you for everything." Collins' funeral is scheduled for tomorrow at 11 o'clock at First Baptist Church, Glenarden. I'm Denise Douglas, CTV News.
First Baptist Church of Glenarden is located at 600 Watkins Park Drive in Upper Marlboro. The viewing will also be held there starting at 9 a.m. And we're learning more tonight about a Clinton teenager who died in a car accident earlier this week. 17-year-old Norman White was driving southbound on Temple Hill Road Tuesday night when he lost control and hit a tree. White was finishing his junior year at Gwynn Park High School, where he played varsity football. Coach Danny Hayes describes White as a shy, respectful kid with a huge heart and a sweet smile. He says he feels as if he lost a son. He says the team is a family and the players are taking White's death very hard.
Norman White, offensive guard, class of 2018.
Norman was one of the biggest little guys that I've known since the 20 years I've been coaching here at Gwynn Park. We call him Stormin' Norman. We gave him that name because basically we don't play favoritism here at Gwynn Park. He played the line for us, 175-pound lineman. Going against 300-pounders. He's constantly meeting the challenge. We constantly saw him in practice, what he was doing and how he was doing it. He was doing a great job at it. So we couldn't sit Norman down on the bench because of the weight. He would look at me and his smile was just melt you. To whereas when he smiles, the coach, bring it my way, coach. Bring the ball my way. I got him, coach. I got him. You can rely on me, coach. But the bottom line, Norman was very shy. When it came time to do what you needed to do, you can always expect Norman to be where he needed to be.
Hayes says he believes White was on his way home from work the night of the accident. The investigation into what caused the teen to lose control and veer off the road continues. Now, Coach Hayes also tells us that White liked to DJ, and he was a huge Cowboys fan like his father. The coach says he's been in contact with the family. He sent a long text message to White's father, letting him know how much Norman meant to the team.
And I understand grief counselors may be, which is very normal in cases like this, they may be on staff at this point.
Yes, to help the kids cope, and they'll be there for several days, possibly into next week.
All right, thanks. Well, Prince George's County Council puts its seal of approval on the fiscal year 2018 budget. The $3.8 billion spending plan invests heavily on infrastructure, public safety, and economic development. Public education received the biggest chunk of the overall budget, $1.9 billion. And while that's $51 million more than last year, council members say a lot more investment is needed for school repairs and construction.
We have billions of dollars in deferred maintenance. We are not even close to keeping up with that. It's the challenge is the funding model, and unless and until we can get that changed in Annapolis, we're going to continue on this.
And the budget also provides funding for 200 police recruits, more than 100 firefighters, and 25 sheriff's deputies. Well, Governor Larry Hogan signs a series of bills into law today regarding heroin and opioid addiction. Included in the package are educational efforts to combat the growing problem in Maryland, as well as new treatment efforts.
Emphasis on education, prevention, treatment, interdiction, and law enforcement, including a bill to increase the penalty for drug dealers who knowingly sell fentanyl and other analogs. A bill to require healthcare providers to prescribe the lowest effective dose of an opioid, the HOPE Act to improve patient education, to increase vital treatment services, and to deliver more life-saving naloxone to additional at-risk individuals.
Meantime, Hogan held a late afternoon press conference to announce plans to veto the paid sick leave bill that was passed in both chambers during the 2017 session. Hogan had to decide if he would sign or veto the Healthy Working Families Act.